Good Monday, everyone. Meteorologist Robert Smith from GardenStateWeather.com and on Twitter at GardenStateWX and right here on YouTube on Garden State Weather. Want to look at the atmosphere this morning and get into the forecast. I know that a lot of people will be traveling this year for the holidays. Thanksgiving week coming up next week. Want to take a look at a lot of things here this morning and focus in on that. This is the forecast discussion on this Monday, the 15th already of November, just a week and a half away from Thanksgiving weekend itself. This is an incredible viewpoint this morning on the GOES channel here, the Simple Water Vapor channel, that is showing us this atmospheric river here that is pummeling the western United States and the Intermountain region here as well. And we can see this, look at all of this convection down around the date line here. And it's feeding into this atmospheric river of moisture pooling into the United States West Coast. This is up close, a better profile here of this atmospheric river here. Look at all of this moisture feeding into the western United States as the GOES satellite here is refreshing up through the daylight hours. And we're looking at the Simple Water Vapor channel this morning. It's probably too early on the West Coast for the visible yet. We can take a look at the shortwave channel, and this gives you a clear idea of what is going on here. It's just incredible amount of moisture being pulled into the western United States. Let's see if we can get into mesoanalysis with some of this. Let's do composite radar if this shows up, and you're beginning to see the Doppler fill up here into Washington and Oregon here with that moisture pooling in. Let's do 500 millibar RAP analysis and look at all these short waves in the flow here over the West Coast. Incredible amount of moisture here being pulled in on very strong upper jet dynamic winds, 50, 60, 70, 80 knot winds here, pooling in at the 500 millibar level. It's just absolutely incredible to see. We'll take that off. We'll take mean sea level pressure here, and high pressure is over the desert southwest, and low pressure is developing here across Canada and the Aleutian Islands and Alaska here, and that is pooling in some of that moisture here and from here. And downwind of all the storminess that's occurring now over the west, let's take a look at the composite radar here once again in the continental sectors here. We've got short waves diving in here in this flow, and already we're seeing a bunch of cloud cover here, stratocumulus cloud cover here over the area here in the northeast associated with cold pools, basically. Look at all these Vort maxes here. Wow, that's credible. Look at all these Vort max. I think this is there's a problem here with that. Hold on. This is a better depiction here. Look at the cloud cover with these short waves embedded in this flow here, the cyclonic upper level flow here from the northwest over the New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia metro area this morning. And the cloud cover again beginning to fill in. Take a look at the visible satellite. Plenty of cloud cover here, stratocumulus clouds in the atmosphere on a northwest flow, circumnavigating all of these short waves moving through, but there's not really a lot of precipitation associated with this. Could be some out on the Cape here and out onto eastern Long Island over the ocean and downwind the Great Lakes. I'm sure that some of this has to be snow. Oh yes, this is definitely snow falling from out of the Great Lakes here. The warm waters of the Great Lakes supporting that northwest flow, and downwind Lake Erie, Lake Ontario here into upstate New York. We have snow falling. And here with the Doppler radar from Fort Dix, this is incredible to see this. This precipitation that's probably in the form of rain, but the Doppler radar hydrometeorological classification, hydrometeor, classification shows it as snow aloft. That's how cold it is outside this morning. Yeah, it's definitely chilly out there this morning. We've got temperatures at 11 a.m. this morning in the upper 30s to low and mid 40s. Probably not too much lower than that, but temperatures did dip this morning to at or below freezing in many areas here this morning, but the cloud cover is now certainly building back in. I'll take a break away for a second here to look at the spread of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, out in the Midwest. This is pretty bad now. This is getting pretty bad here across this region and spreading. And this doesn't look good here in the Northeast, but New Jersey and most of Pennsylvania look good. But a lot of change in the weather, and I'm sure this is going to affect the cold and flu, which is ongoing right now across New England and various parts of the country as well. Cough not showing up. Strep is showing up here. And so a lot of people are getting sick. And we do have a large amount of people here suffering from fever. And of course, flu. Well, that's going on here in Florida as well. Cold and flu showing up here. Nationally this morning, we'll take a look at temperatures at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 15Z. On the Zulu clock here. Temperatures in the teens and 20s and 30s, 40s around the northern mid-Atlantic. And it's chilly this morning, even in Florida, too. 24-hour temperature change. Let's see if we do this. Where is that located here? 24-hour temperature change. Yeah, it's warmed up a little bit across the Midwest. It's cooled down around the West Coast and British Columbia and the Aleutian Islands here with that low pressure area. And waves of short waves moving into the flow here on the West Coast, as mentioned. And it's quite chilly here with that troughiness across the eastern United States from Hudson's Bay, Canada, all the way down into the northern mid-Atlantic. Nationally, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, but this is what it feels like outside. So it feels chilly in the 30s here in New Jersey. Let's get into local here. See what the wind chill heat index feels like. It feels like it's about freezing to just above freezing. It's chilly out, right? And the 24-hour temperature change across the New Jersey, New York, Philly area here is about 1 or so degrees cooler than it was at this time yesterday. And as far as national warnings go this morning, we have plenty of them. In the upper Midwest here, the west coast of Washington and Oregon, we have flood watches, flood warnings, winter storm watches here, winter weather advisories here, freeze watch over the southern mid-Atlantic here along the coast, interior fog, dense fog advisory into the interior portions of California this morning. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Red flag warnings, high wind watches, high wind warnings, and wind advisories here, all in these shading colors here. Red flag warning here in Montana. Looking at the tropics, nothing going on in the Atlantic, nothing expected over the next 48 hours. Also here in the Pacific, the Eastern Pacific and the Central Pacific is very quiet, thankfully. Latest surface chart from Weather Prediction Center. Here's our atmospheric river here from Canada into British Columbia into the western United States. Plenty of rainfall, just incredible amounts of rain and intermountain snow here. Draped across the upper Midwest here into the West Coast. High pressure over the desert Southwest. And, well, cold front after cold front, if you want to call it that, just troughs here in the eastern United States. Downwind the lakes, snow. And the Weather Prediction Center obviously showing that atmospheric river continuing with additional rainfall rates of 1 to 3 inches of rainfall possible by noon today across upper portions of Washington and Oregon here. 850 millibar mid-level flow here, up to 60 miles an hour, directed towards the terrain with precipitable water values of 1.25 inches. That's a lot of precipitable water value. And areas where the heaviest rainfall over the past 24 hours has shown up in here. Meanwhile, We'll take a look at the surface charts coming up. First, this is the look at the national viewpoint this morning at 12Z from the Weather Prediction Center. And 18Z this afternoon, downwind the lakes, snow and sleet and rain mixed in with troughiness. Here's our upper level low here across Maine and Nova Scotia. High pressure across most of the country. Here's that new storm out into the west. Lots of troughs here. And as we go through the flow here, by tonight, downwind the lakes from Maine all the way into the Ohio River Valley area. Downwind on that northwest flow with multiple short waves rotating around this upper level low in Canada right now is going to produce snow. And it is snowing right now. As we head into Tuesday night and Wednesday, high pressure briefly takes control, and that should shut off the lake effect snow from downwind the lakes. But that system coming into the west coast and Canada means warmer air is going to be advected northward. And all of this pooling of moisture here from the Florida Straits with high pressure off the east coast and the pooling of water here around, let's say, southern Florida, the Keys here, and around that area of high pressure and this area of low pressure here, a lot of rainfall going to occur. And most of that is going to be pulled northward with warm air advection along the eastern United States coast here. You can even see the vestiges of rain here in southern Florida, so it looks like a pretty wet week setting up in Florida as well, and only gaining more control here. And then that cold front moves through with some rain on Thursday, and then high pressure. This looks like a modified air mass here at 1032 millibars here over the Central Plains as we head into Friday. Saturday, that looks good. Sunday, return flow again. Winds coming in off the ocean here along the mid-Atlantic coast with high pressure still in control, and warm air advection ahead of this next system coming in, and that is going to bring rainfall into the area and chillier temperatures to follow, again with multiple cold fronts coming through. Very dynamic. Love to use the HRR and NAM model mesoscale analysis. Again, downwind the lakes here. It's snow flurries, snow showers, burst of moderate snow at times, the fingers of the northwest flow and the cold air that's over us. It's possible to see snowflakes in the air over the Poconos during today, and again over the next 18 hours, which takes us out into, this is the latest model run here from 14Z. It begins to shut off a little bit, but you can see the atmosphere is quite cool and it is chilly. Let's take a look at the 850 millibar temperatures here, and it's cold, supporting that snow shower, lake effect, lake convection effect, snow shower activity across the area. With look at these temperatures at 850 millibars. It's chilly out there. Bundle up. Of course, everybody wants to see the temperature profiles here over the next 7 days here. Let's roll this back. Roll this back here. High temperatures today in the 30s, upper 30s here in the Poconos, low to mid 40s to near 50 across most of the area. This week is not going to be a particularly warm week at all by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe by midweek, and then after that it comes crashing down again. Temperatures on Tuesday again about where they are today. We're expected to be today. Tomorrow, warm air advection winds over. Temperature still in the 50s south of the warm air advection here across the Poconos and northwestern New Jersey and the Hudson River Valley area into Connecticut. The temperatures rising on the North Shore, South Shore of Long Island, the ocean fronts here, and down towards Washington, D.C. and Delaware. That's going to be short-lived. On Thursday, that warm air advection really wins out again. Temperatures really rising well above normal into the 60s That's going to be turned down in a big way with a strong cold front once again. So temperatures on Thursday in the 60s, but by Friday, you're barely getting out of 50 degrees. What a change, right? And that cool change is going to continue into Saturday and Sunday. Regional temperature anomalies, 5, 6 degrees below normal today, 9 degrees below normal over the Poconos with snowflakes in the air. Yeah. Tomorrow, again, below normal on the anomalies, but 3 to 5 degrees above normal on Wednesday, definitely on Thursday. This is an indication of a very strong cold front coming through. When you get this kind of temperature change in the anomaly showing up at like 14, 15, 16 degrees above normal on Thursday, followed by temperature anomalies 2, 3 degrees, 4, 5 degrees below normal on Friday, you know you've got some kind of weather system impacting the area. And that cold air is just going to continue over the weekend and marginally getting back on Sunday. I know it's that time of the year where everybody's talking about snow, okay, and basically at the higher elevations here above 1,800 feet here in the Poconos and northwestern northern Pennsylvania here are going to see flakes that accumulate onto these higher surfaces, but you're going to have to be about 1,500 to 1,800 feet above ground level for any of this to accrue. And when we look at the National Weather Service's digital database here for total precipitation, this is in liquid form, obviously. These areas here are favored. Very little is favored here in New Jersey. I think that should be understood. So I want to go ahead and look at the European Model Guidance's 500 millibar vertical velocities here. As we head through the week, look at this atmospheric river here into the Intermountain West and the West Coast here, troughing here along the East Coast. And this all plays out because the atmospheric river is that strong that it is pulling in all of this moisture and transporting that moisture, convection, and vertical velocities here across the plains and the West Coast. But notice the flow now becomes mostly west to east. Notice how we lose the troughiness and build the heights along the eastern United States as this storm system now heads into Canada and heads east. As it does so, though, there's a new atmospheric river that's forming here along the west coast and in British Columbia and western Canada and off of the coast here of the west coast. So that will change. Our ridge axis here in the east is going to amplify just a little bit. And then here comes that closed low in Canada around Hudson's Bay and driving the forcing of southwest winds aloft and all this rainfall here in Florida. And then up along the spine of the Appalachians here as well. That looks good. And then the pattern is just a west to east flow. Look at all of this moisture here in Canada under this flow. And it's, it's not going anywhere. 576 millibar heights here. That spells a problem. And then more troughiness again under this flow as we head into Tuesday the 23rd. We're approaching Thanksgiving here. And at this time, things look interesting because we have all of this blocking here in the North Atlantic. We have a deep trough now, which is positively tilted in the eastern United States with plenty of positive vorticity advection. Cutoff low here, high pressure cutoff here, more storminess from Canada coming in from Vancouver and British Columbia. And, the European model is having a tough time with this trough. It's keeping it neutral. The GFS is not. So this tells me that, this is not an easy pattern going forward, in and out of, and the GFS is showing some kind of storm around Thanksgiving. Now, the European model guidance is not really showing this just yet, but the GFS has been showing this upper cutoff low around Tuesday, the 23rd, just before Thanksgiving here, and this is the operational model from NCEP. So, it shows some kind of a storm system here off the East Coast and then bombing out over New England's coastal waters before the flow pattern begins to change from west to east again. A lot of undulation in this thread here. Last night's European model guidance shows something here. Positively tilted trough, but doesn't show the storm like the GFS is showing heading into Thanksgiving. And then a west to east flow, Pacific flow across the country. Yeah. Something is adrift here. And what's interesting here is that the GFS actually sees storm potential for the period around Thanksgiving here. This is a negatively tilted trough, and it shows low pressure developing off of the Delmarva here, and then heading into New England. In the 500 millibar heights here, let's take a look at this. Now, the new NCEP GEFS, the ensemble forecast from last night, is seeing something here. But the operational model is showing a storm along the East Coast before the pattern gives way again to a west to east flow across the country. That's what's showing up here in the model guidance here on the GEFS. But the operational GFS, our American model, is showing a storm along the East Coast around Thanksgiving. None of the other models are showing this right now. They're not. Heads up.